been listed for 11 days. You've had 4 inquiries. 2 ghosted you, 1 wanted to negotiate the rent down $300, and 1 showed up to the showing and never responded. Meanwhile, you're watching a rougher unit 2 blocks away. Older kitchen, smaller bedroom, no parking, get leased in 5 days. And you're sitting there wondering what you're missing. Here's what's actually happening. Every single day that unit sits empty during peak leasing season, you're burning somewhere between $66 and $133 in lost rent, depending on your price point. But that daily bleed isn't even the dangerous part. The dangerous part is invisible. After day 7 on Zillow or Apartments.com, the algorithm has already started burying your listing. The best applicants, the ones with strong income, solid references, and zero drama, they've already scrolled past you. They never called, you never knew they existed, and the longer you wait, the deeper you get buried. This script gives you a precise 48-hour system to fix it. No price cut required. Most self-managing landlords treat vacancy like a waiting game. You post the listing, you wait for the phone to ring, and when it doesn't, you assume the price is wrong. So you drop it $50, then $75. Then you finally get someone in the door who lowballed you from the start, and now you've locked yourself into a below-market lease for 12 months, or longer, because California's just cause eviction protections under AB 1482 make long-term tenants very sticky. Here's the math you need to run before you ever touch your price. Take your monthly rent, divide it by 30, that's your daily vacancy cost. On a $2,000 a month unit, you're losing $66.67 every single day it sits empty. On a $4,000 unit, which is not unusual in the Bay Area, LA, or San Diego, you're burning $133 a day. Now multiply that by 21 days, because the average self-managed rental vacancy in California runs 3 to 4 weeks when a landlord doesn't intervene. That's $1,400 to $2,800 in hard dollar losses on a single turn. But here's where the calculation gets ugly. That's just the rent you didn't collect. Add in the carrying costs, mortgage, property taxes, insurance, utilities you're covering during the vacancy, and that 21-day vacancy on a $3,000 unit can easily represent a $3,500 to $4,000 real loss when you net it out. And if you drop the rent by $100 to attract that marginal applicant, you just locked in an additional $1,200 in annual lost revenue per year. For as long as that tenant stays, a price cut is a permanent solution to what is usually a temporary, fixable problem. The real problem isn't your price. The real problem is that nobody is seeing your listing anymore. Zillow, Apartments.com, and Trulia all run feed ranking algorithms that heavily favor freshness. This isn't a secret. It's baked into how these platforms monetize. They want renters to find new inventory, not cycle through stale listings. So after approximately 7 to 10 days on platform, your listing starts receiving what the industry calls algorithmic demotion, meaning it gets pushed down in search results, shown less frequently in recommended feeds, and deprioritized in email alerts that go out to registered renters actively searching in your area. The result? A listing older than 10 days on Zillow or Apartments.com receives up to 70% fewer impressions than a fresh listing at the exact same price point. Read that again. 70% fewer eyes on your unit. Not because your price is wrong, not because your photos are bad, but simply because the platform has decided your listing is old news. Now here's where it gets interesting. That demotion compounds. Day 7 you're down 30% in impressions. Day 10 you're down 50%. By day 14 you're functionally invisible to anyone who isn't specifically searching with filters that surface older listings. And almost nobody does that. The renters who find you at day 14 are not the same quality pool as the renters who found you on day 1. This isn't elitist, it's statistical. Highly qualified renters in competitive California markets sign leases fast. They're not browsing 2-week-old listings. But wait, there's a catch. You can't just edit your existing listing and expect a ranking reset. Zillow's algorithm tracks the original listing creation date. Minor edits don't move the needle. Changing your price by $5 doesn't fool it. The only reliable way to reset your algorithmic position without paying for a sponsored boost is a clean delist and relist, and there's a right way to do it. This protocol works across Zillow, Apartments.com, HotPads, and Trulia. It's legal. It doesn't violate platform terms of service as long as you're relisting a genuinely available unit, which you are. And it doesn't create any California fair housing exposure under the Fair Employment and Housing Act because you're applying the same process regardless of applicant characteristics. You're resetting a listing, not changing your criteria. Here's the exact sequence. Execute this over 48 hours, not 48 minutes. Day 1, first half, delist the unit completely from every platform where it's currently posted. Don't just pause it, remove it. This matters because partial deactivation on some platforms doesn't fully reset the creation date metadata on relist. Day 1, second half, rebuild your listing assets. This is the part most landlords skip, and it's where you actually recover your conversion rate. Retake your photos at minimum. Shoot during morning or golden hour light, not midday flat light. If you used a phone the first time, use it again, but clean your lens and shoot in landscape mode. Write a new description that leads with the single strongest feature of the unit. Not spacious 2BR, but quiet end unit with direct garage access and no shared walls. Specificity converts. Vague language doesn't. Day 2, relist as a brand new listing across all platforms simultaneously. Set a competitive price, not a cut price, your market-supported price, and set your available date to reflect current reality. If you were previously listing available now and it's been 2 weeks, update that. Inaccurate availability dates are an easy way to lose a qualified applicant in the first 30 seconds of contact. One more thing on pricing. Before you relist, pull 3 to 5 actively leased comps from your zip code with similar square footage, bedroom count, and amenities. Not listed comps, leased comps. Zillow's rental market data and Rentometer both give you this. If your price is within 5% of the median of recently leased comps, your price is not your problem. If it's above that range by more than 8 to 10%, shave it before you relist, but only then. Your new listing will launch with a Day 1 freshness score. You're back in the top of the feed. You've reset the clock. Now the only question is what happens when the inquiries come in. This is the chapter that most landlords argue with, and then test, and then stop arguing. Responding to a rental inquiry within 2 hours during business hours converts at 3 times the rate of a next-day response. 3 times. That's not a marginal improvement. That's the difference between a signed lease and another week of vacancy. Here's why the math is brutal during peak season. Qualified renters in California's competitive markets. We're talking May through August. The core leasing window are typically touring 3 to 5 units and making decisions within 24 to 48 hours of their first inquiry. If you respond to a Tuesday afternoon message on Wednesday morning, there's a statistically significant chance that renter signed a lease Tuesday night on a different unit. They didn't ghost you. They just moved fast, the way strong applicants do. The fix is dead simple. During peak leasing season, and during your 48-hour relist window specifically, set a phone alarm labeled Inquiry Check for every 90 minutes during business hours. When an inquiry comes in, respond immediately with this 2-sentence message. Thanks for reaching out. This unit is still available. What's the best time for you to see it in the next 48 hours? That's it. Don't send a paragraph. Don't ask screening questions yet. Get the showing booked first. At the showing, your job is not to sell. Your job is to answer questions accurately and close on the application before they leave the property. The closing line that works, and this is not manipulation, this is just clarity, is, I'm scheduling showings through Thursday. If you're interested, I'd encourage you to submit an application today so we can move forward before the weekend. Urgency framing grounded in reality. It works because it's true. The 48-hour relist protocol solves the problem you have right now. This chapter solves the problem permanently. The single highest leverage thing you can do as a self-managing California landlord is eliminate the gap between move out and move in entirely. And the mechanism that makes that possible costs you nothing. It's a text message. 45 days before your lease expires, or as soon as you get a move-out notice, send this message to your current tenant. Hey, we're starting to plan for the unit turnover. Do you know anyone looking for a place around move-out date? Happy to give them first look before we list publicly. That's it. One text, no reward required, though a small referral incentive doesn't hurt if your market is competitive. Tenant referrals convert at an extraordinarily high rate for 2 reasons. First, your current tenant has already self-selected someone they trust enough to recommend. The screening work is partially done. Second, that referred applicant is motivated to move fast because they have a warm connection. They're not browsing 40 listings. They're applying to yours. Run the math one more time. If a referral text sent 45 days out fills your unit with 0 vacancy days, you've preserved $2,000 to $4,000 in rent on a single turn, on a $0 marketing spend. Over 5 years of self-managing, even one avoided vacancy per year compounds into $10,000 to $20,000 in income you would have otherwise left on the table through drift. Build a wait list. Text your current tenants. Keep a short list of past applicants who were qualified but lost out on a unit. When a vacancy approaches, work the list before you post publicly. Peak leasing season landlord tips don't get more practical than this. The best listing is the one you never have to make. Recap. Here's what you're taking out of this. An aging listing isn't just underperforming, it's actively invisible. After days 7 to 10, you're receiving up to 70% fewer impressions than a fresh listing at the same price. The fix isn't a price cut, it's the 48-hour delist, rebuild, and relist protocol that resets your algorithmic ranking without violating platform rules or California fair housing law. When inquiries come in, your 2-hour response window is worth more than any marketing spend you could make. It converts at 3 times the rate of next-day responses, because qualified renters in this market don't wait. And the most powerful vacancy prevention tool available to you right now is a $0 referral text sent 45 days before your unit turns over. Your vacancy is costing you more than you're tracking. Now you know exactly how to stop it, powered by LeaseBase intelligence.